I, John, am the one who heard and saw all these things. Let all on the earth and in heaven sing. Jesus is the source of David and heir to his throne. If you find and follow Jesus, you will never be alone. He is the bright morning star. He is the God who's never far. The Spirit and the bride say, come. Let anyone who hears this say, come. Sent an angel to present this revelation to his servant John. The day of truth is about to dawn. The angel's in a group of 7. He comes with the clouds of heaven.
before. Hello. Okay, we're going now. We'll get sound. It's not the sound I wanted, but hey, whatever. It's all going to work. Okay, it's all going to work really, really well. In Jesus' name. Okay, we are here tonight to talk about some things we talked about last night, except we're going to kind of finish up a little bit on it. And one little part of it, well, just one little portion that we're going to finish up on, and that is the all the things that will happen when the dollar goes down, if it goes down and we're not prepared for it. So the sound is on. Thank you for that. Okay. So let me see if I have. Okay. Are you on the video that I sent? The link that I sent you on that? Did I sent you a link on the video? Do you have that? Are you on? I mean, I just don't know it. Something's going on with that. Okay. All right. All right. We're getting close here. Give me a second. I'm getting really close. Okay. You can just use the audio on it if you want. Okay, so we're getting it done here, y'all. Yeah, Jesus is really good all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time, right? Right. So I think we're getting it here. So just give us a second. We're getting sound. And okay, so as soon as that goes on, we will know what's happening. I'm trying to do the audio thing tonight. So I sent out a link to our guest tonight, our interviewer who's going to interview me on this subject. Sent a link out for the. They can get on the audio only. They don't have to get on the video. You don't need to get on the video. It'd be made more complicated to get the video. Just get the audio on if you want. Up to you. And so let me know about that. So I'm on Turbo and YouTube. But are you on Restream? Are you on the Restream that I sent? I sent the Restream just for the audio because we want to make sure we do our. We're testing our new audio thing tonight. And we want to make sure we don't mess up on that. So that's the reason that I'm doing that. I don't know if it's going to even work or not, but we're going to try. So let me know if you get on there. Are you hearing me okay? I can't tell. We do have delays. Yes, I am checked on. Okay, so how come I'm not getting you on here? All right. Let me send you another one just in case. Okay, we're trying to get all the audio set up so this time we don't mess up like we did last night. We're trying to experiment a little bit tonight, so give us just a moment and we will be right with you. Everybody. Okay, so here we go. Uh, Okay, we're working on an audio thing. We'll be right there. Set that up. Saying it again. Okay, we're working on that. You're not on there yet because I would see you and you're not there yet. So try the new link that I just sent, if you would, please. And let's go there and kind of see what's going on with that. All right, I've been sending out some notices to people who want to be on the show with me to do this this interview thing that we have going on that we're trying to do a kind of a new thing. We're trying to teach people things. And so if you can bear with us a little bit while we work on that, because I did not see you. Okay, wait, here. Okay, there you are. Okay, Nicole, you are there. Your audio?
Okay, great. Can you hear me?
Yes, except you might have to plug something in because you probably may get an echo from the turbo. So
Okay, I'll turn turbo.
like an earpiece or something in one of those so it won't echo and go back. All right, everybody, this is awesome, and as you can tell, I have. I'm going to turn that. I'm going to turn that audio down just for a moment until you get that ready to go. Okay, so what we're looking at tonight, we have. Last night we had our friend on from DC. We have another friend on from DC tonight. DC girl Nicole from DC. Last night we had Daryl Paul on from DC, and so next week we're going to have on Monday we're going to have. I'll tell you kind of tell you our schedule a little bit. We're going to have. We've already had someone get back with me on being on next Monday's show because we're going to give you a whole lot of information on this so you can be equipped for it. And as we go along, we'll give you more information as we go. But I don't want to overwhelm you with anything and kind of give you a real easy understanding on what's really going on, what's gone on, and how we can pray about it. Because tonight, as I talked with Nicole about this, and I've sent her some questions to ask, and she'll just do whatever she wants to do on that. So we are going to we're going to be doing the interview situation tonight, and she will ask questions about this thing with China that is a very real threat. It's not an immediate thing going on, but we uh, don't want to take any chances. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about what if the dollar crashes, because most people don't even have any information on what if the dollar crashed. What would it do? Oh, nothing. We'd be back on in a few days. Well, we're going to answer those questions tonight. What if? Now, we're not saying the dollar's going to go down. It's not going to crash. I'm not saying that it's going to crash tomorrow or next week or even next year. I'm warning you as a prophet and trying to prepare you for the whole scenario of if it did happen to be ready. And that way you're going to be ready for a lot more situations than most people will be because we're going to inform you on how to do a lot of that. And it's going to be done in layers so we don't overwhelm anybody. But tonight we're going to make sure that you understand that if the dollar crashed tomorrow, if it crashed tomorrow, what would we do? What would happen in all reality? Not some fantasy thing. What would actually really happen if the dollar? We wake up tomorrow morning and they said, "Y'all, we're sorry, the dollar crashed, and we have a whole different situation going on." We're going to talk about that tonight as a preparatory thing. So when hopefully it won't happen, we don't know that it's going to happen, but hopefully uh, as we are helping people understand what would happen if the dollar crashed, right? Now Trump and Texas are building a net for all this. We've talked about that a little bit last night with Daryl Paul, and tonight we're going to talk a little bit about it with other friend from DC, Nicole from DC. And then next week we're going to have Angela from South Carolina. She will be on with me on Monday. We don't have a Tuesday person yet, but we're setting up scheduling ahead so that we can focus on this to truly prepare people so that in the future they can go back to these archives and truly go, well, wow, I think we better listen to this because uh, not only are we going to find out how the dollar got messed up in the first place, so you can be equipped for that, but also if the dollar were to crash sooner than we think, what would we do and what would actually happen to the economy for the next 6 months or whatever. We're going to give you some very real scenarios on that. So mainly tonight's request for you is to pray that the Texas system will be set up. It's already been put into law, but it has not been tried out yet. We're also asking you to pray for Trump and the new law that he put in about cryptocurrency, and most people don't have a clue what that is. I'm not saying I know a lot about it either. I do know that it's going to work together with the Texas hub. Texas is going to be the hub, and it's going to the new law that Trump passed is going to work together with it, and it's going to complement it. And it's going to cause the Texas hub, financial hub, to be expanded exponentially, because now that Trump has passed the law on cryptocurrency, that means that the bankers will not be afraid to deal with these currencies. So it's going to help a lot. It was a really great idea. I did not know he was going to do that soon, but so it's really interesting. But tonight I'm going to give you some real scenarios on what could happen to you, what could happen to the U.S., what could happen to the globe. We're going to give you some very, very real scenarios, not to put fear on you, but to get you to think, okay, maybe I better pray about this thing that we get our system set up, because China has had their system that if the dollar crashes tomorrow, China will be the only ones that have a system set up that you can go to the grocery store and buy food. And we know what China is. China is going to be the Antichrist system, right? That's the Antichrist system. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And we want you to get a hold of it and try to understand it the best you can. So there you go. Let's see here. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm not sure. I've never done this. I don't think I've ever done this live before. Like this. So this is kind of cool. Okay, let me see if Nicole is ready for this. See, where am I at? What am I doing? I'm doing this. There we go. Okay, Nicole, did you want to try your audio real quick?
Okay, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, I think that's going to be really good. All right, awesome. So, y'all, we're trying something new tonight, and and I can hear you moving around. Maybe you're Daryl Paul is messing with you or something. I don't know, but whatever. Of course, I'm playing, but so yeah, I'm hearing a lot of noise. I mean, let me see if I need.
Okay, I was just trying to see if I could get my camera on, but I'm ready.
Okay, well, you don't need to get your camera off if you don't want to. I see you up there, so I can see you talking. And
Okay.
I turned down my audio here, and you're also on turbo, right?
I'm not. Daryl Paul is listening via turbo, so I don't have the turbo on in this room.
Okay, it says your name on there, but you're not on there.
I'm gonna turn it on.
Yeah, I'm not using turbo. I'm just using Restream.
Okay, but people aren't going to be able to hear you on turbo.
Okay, so you want me to get on turbo?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
we're doing this for the first time tonight, y'all. So next week it will be Angela from South Carolina. She'll be with me on Monday, and hopefully she's listening tonight. And we'll be doing this. And some of you other friends of ours who want to be on with us and do this interview style thing that we're doing, that would be really, really cool. Okay, so let me know about that. I'm going to send you out some text.
Okay, so I have the speakerphone on for turbo, and I'm using the mic for Restream at the same time.
Okay, wonderful. So let's get you on here. So, okay, because I can't really hear you yet. Okay, hang on a second here. I mean, I can't hear you on turbo yet, so give me just a second here. We're doing this for the first time, y'all, as I've already explained a couple of times. But we are going to get this out. We're experimenting really for the first time. And so there. Thank God I found that. Uh, okay. Okay. Can you hear me now, Nicole?
Sure. Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay, great. We are. I think we're getting this figured out. I'm trying to turn your audio down all the way. Oh, I see. There we go. Okay, talk one more time. Just say hello, everybody, or something.
Hello, everybody. Excited to get started tonight.
Right. We had Daryl Paul on last night. Did I hear him in the background back there?
That's right.
He's going to be our professional, keep everybody straight man.
Yes.
And hopefully that will work really good. I'm sure it will. All right, everybody, we are going to. I'm hearing myself on that. Why am I hearing myself? I shouldn't be hearing myself.
Is that because I'm using Turbo and Restream at the same time?
You're asking me? The guy who's, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know for sure. But we're going to find out. We'll work it out as we go. I guess I really don't need to have that in my ear because, okay, talk to me one more time.
Okay. Testing, testing.
Okay, one more time.
Testing, testing. Excited to get started.
One more time.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Thank you very much. That sounds really good. I think I got it figured out where I'm not hearing myself, which is very distracting for me. Okay, y'all. Good. I think we're going to get going here. And one of the things that, Nicole, thanks for being on with me tonight. Thanks, Daryl Paul. Thanks for letting her come on with us and sharing her tonight with the PG family. And we had some really good talks last night. And Carmen says, praying for a great interview tonight. Thank you for that. People are praying for us. One of the things I want to really remind people of, are you live on Facebook? Yes. Yes, I am live on Facebook. So people ask me questions. Give me a second here as I try to answer all this stuff the best I can. Okay, so Nicole, here we are. We are getting ready to take it to the next level. I think if you want to listen to how that the U.S. dollar got in trouble in a short form without a lot of heavy duty information, just a really short form of it. We did that last night on, and you'll listen to Daryl Paul. Hopefully you can hear it good. I can send the link out to everybody from the Turbo because I don't think that the YouTube and the Facebook one work very well. So I can send you that one if you want to. It's just a real quick learning thing. It's kind of an interview style. And I think you'll be glad you did it, just so you can kind of get a real short information on how the U.S. dollar, why we are getting ready, why all of a sudden, it seems like all of a sudden, that the United States, including Donald Trump, is putting together a crypto system and passing the law. And why Texas, of course, Texas has been building its system for quite a while. It didn't just start recently, but just recently they picked up the speed on it. And we're going to talk about why they just picked up the speed on all this stuff. Because we've got on the show many times and said, about the debit card with the gold and silver in the Texas Bullion Depository. We said, oh, we think they passed it now, and then they wouldn't pass it, then they wouldn't pass it, then they wouldn't pass it, and now they've gone to a little bit more trouble. Our governor, last month, got on there and passed a law that they couldn't just ignore it any longer. And so, to make a long story short, okay, I would like the turbo link. Okay, people ask for the Turbo Link. I will get that to you. It is very informative. It's very short. And like Daryl Paul said last night, I hope he's not listening right now because I'm really going to say something about him that's not really that great. That he says Chandler didn't go all over the place. He stuck with his program. So anyway, I'm just kidding, of course. But yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to stick with the program. We're trying to stick with the information. And then after that, then we go all over the place, right? And so then we'll have a different kind of fun. But so that's kind of what we're doing. We have this organized, we have this structured, we have the questions. And of course, Nicole can ask them however she wants to, as long as I know what question she's on. So she has to ask it pretty close. But we're going to inform our people. If we don't inform anybody else, it's not my deal. Y'all's blood is going to be off my hands. As far as preparing you, as far as saying, hey, y'all, what I want y'all to do tonight more than anything is to pray about this. Pray that the Texas people get their stuff together and they bring it together sooner than September of 2026. They need to do it more like in February, March, April, or May, somewhere in there, May, June, July, and bring it up because this thing with China is a real could be a very real threat, and that's why we're talking about this. Don't get in fear. It's not, we're going to inform you about it so you can be very informed. Mainly, we want you to pray about it. That's the main thing that we want you to do is pray about this stuff. Okay, Nicole, are you there?
Yes, I'm ready. I want to start with question number 1, if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about this alarming scenario some economists are warning about. What happens if the dollar crashes before quote unquote alternatives to the US dollar are ready?
Right. So what she's saying here is, what if Trump is late? I hope he's not going to be. We need to pray about this. That's why we need to really pray about this. We need America to pray about this. We need the world to pray about this. That Trump was on time with his cryptocurrency thing. Once you understand the cryptocurrency thing, we're going to explain all that too, and why it's important to the Texas bullion depository and the debit card, which takes gold and just makes it easy to spend. Why all those two systems are going to work together, and are they doing it in time? Are they doing it in time? Because China. Let me just say this: it's really a nightmare scenario in a sense. If the dollar crashed tomorrow, July the 23rd, let's say it crashed tomorrow. It's not going to, I don't think, but let's look at it. So July the 23rd, let's say it crashed tomorrow. China would win the global dominance right away without even going to war. They will win the global dominance right away because there's not any other system that has been being used and that has been tried out and tested like theirs. They have been doing this for about at least 3 years. We're going to say 4 to 5 years. They have like 260 million users who are kind of already done what Texas is trying to do, and they've already put it in their law. And what Donald Trump is doing by doing the cryptocurrency law, all that is going to work together. But the thing is that right now, literally for the last 3 to 5 years, at least 3 years, they have been ready for that. They've been using it. They have been using the system that we're trying to get going because everybody knows, y'all, that the dollar's going to crash. So this is really a nightmare scenario in the sense that China would win the dominance because you wouldn't know that you're buying things from them. You would know that you're using their system because they're going to deceive you and make you think it's American, right? So and they're going to win without any military force. This is the greatest desire. China's greatest desire is to find ways to cause the dollar to crash, just like what happened. Who saying that sent the plague that we had during Trump's time? Who did that? Nicole, do you know who did that?
I don't know who did that, Randy.
But we think that China did it.
So can you walk us through what would day 1 look like?
You're breaking up and you're echoing.
Okay, what would day one look like for us if the dollar crashed? Like day one for us here in America.
Yeah, what would they would look like? Yeah, okay. So uh, we well, I was trying to say that China is we pretty well think that China was the one who got the the COVID-19 thing going, right? I mean, I think most people agree that, and plus I'm not hearing you on turbo anymore either. I don't know why. I'm not hearing you. Wait a minute, it's because I don't have the turbo thing in there. All right, we're gonna figure this out. It's gonna be really cool. So China is the one that we most people believe that China is the one that set up the whole situation to send out COVID and the plague, if you will. Because when did it happen? During Donald Trump. It
Right.
happened during Donald Trump's reign. So everybody knows that it came from China one way or the other. Whether they did it on purpose or it's back, it doesn't matter. I think they probably did it on purpose. And the reason that they did that on purpose, what happened to our economy? What happened to our economy? What happened to the value of our dollar when all that happened? It went it our financials for a short season went down fast. So who was involved in that? China was involved in that, right? Most people believe. We're saying alleged because we don't really know for positive sure. But the whole thing is, y'all, is that China is very much wanting to and planning on um, hoping that they can take America's dollar down, so they don't have to go to war if they do that. That is their greatest warfare strategy, is about that. All right. But because they're the only ones that have a working system, China is the only one that has a working system. If the global dominant dollar system is no longer available, they're going to automatically be in first place. You see what I'm saying? That's what most people have talked about, is who's going to be in first place, China or the United States. The Antichrist system, which they're going to be very much a part of, they're going to be heading it up. Them in Russia and North Korea and some others, they're going to be headed. That's what they are. And they're one of their sneaky strategies. I'm trying to tell you what their sneaky strategy is, very deceitful strategy, is they are just acting like, oh, we're going to go to war here. We're going to attack Taiwan. We're going to, and Japan, I mean. And so, so they are doing everything they can to make sure that the dollar goes down, because if they can make the dollar go down and become worthless, guess what? They're ready for it. We have not been ready. So she just said right here that what would be day number one if the dollar crashed like tomorrow? What would day number one be like? Well, immediate chaos, because you no longer have a system that works. You have no longer a system to pay your bills. You no longer have a system to use your credit card because it's all based on the dollar, right? Immediate chaos. Your credit card and debit cards would stop working. There's no dollar backing for them. That's what they're backed by. Everything is backed by, the whole globe has for the most part, now not as much as it used to be, but it used to be backed by the dollar. If the dollar crashes, which China is doing its best to make sure that it does as soon as possible, yeah, that's what they're doing.
So Randy, wait,
backed by the dollar, or has been, in fact, all of our stuff.
So Randy, just
PGNs.
So we're going so fast here.
PGNs, 90% that we've invested in gold and silver, we are ahead of a scale on this. We are ahead of everything on that, because of the market mantle God has given me. And he told me to do that before October the 13th. So we did it. And we didn't just go 30%, which would have been a lot, not 40%, not 60%, not 80%, 90%. That was a God move. And then we all know that gold and silver has gone off the roof. They break a new. I think gold is even breaking a new record. I know silver has, and so they're all right there at new records already again. So your credit card's going to be worthless because it's based on the dollar. ATM machines are going to shut down because the banks couldn't process transactions because the dollar is worthless. Your PayPal, Venmo, all the online payments would fail. Why? Because the dollar does not work anymore. So none of those systems can work. You see what I'm saying? All online payments.
Randy, can you hear me?
As soon as that dollar crashes, I'm trying to give you a scenario to pray about, y'all, to think about. This is some very real stuff that could happen, like, you know, anytime, anytime. So we're trying to let you know about that. Okay, so there's more about this, and then so uh,
Randy, I have some more questions. Can you hear
also
me?
alarmingly, the grocery stores would close because they couldn't process payments. Right. So you're talking about food. That's why the Antichrist is going to go. The Antichrist is like who? Like China's system, Russia's system. Who we talking about tonight? That already is ready to take this thing in case the dollar goes down, which is what they hate the dollar. Oh, she said Nicole's trying to talk to me. Okay, sorry. Okay, Nicole, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So you were saying a lot of all important stuff. I just wanted to ask some follow-up questions. So when you said credit cards won't work, PayPal won't work, what does that mean for folks who need to buy gas or buy groceries or
Well, yeah.
yeah, what so with people, do you foresee people being able to um, buy groceries, to keep their house note current, to pay for gas?
How are they going to do that? They,
Right.
in America and everywhere that the dollar, y'all let me know when she's trying to talk to me because I can't put this in my ear because it messes with me. So let me know when she's talking to me if you would. So how are you going to pay? You're going to go home. Oh, you got to get your cash out because your credit card's not working. Oh, my credit card didn't work. Why? I don't know. Oh, I get my cash out. So you go to try to pay by cash, and they're going like, and you go to pay for your gas or your food or your rent or whatever. They go like, man, I know you have this cash under your mattress for a long time. We can tell it kind of smells funny, but you know what? The cash system is down. We can't even that doesn't pay for anything. So how are people going to pay for anything? They're not going to be able to pay for anything, Nicole. Not with
So
cash.
Randy, are you saying that? Well, let me ask: would Americans start using China's system?
Well, that's exactly why we're talking about this. Yes, there is no other system that works as far as they have a system that has been tried and proven. I'm just trying to compare it to the Texas system that we've been prophesying about for 3 or 4 or 5 years. That the need for it and the reason for it was because of the thing we're talking about tonight. And now we're seeing it all develop. Nobody, this wasn't a blink in anybody's eye 5 years ago, as far as actually doing something about it. The bullion depository has been there for a long time, but all they did was just store gold and silver. They didn't have any way to process it. They weren't even working on that, as far as we know. Right. And now all of a sudden they're working on it. Why are all of a sudden they working on it? Because they know what's going on. And the thing is are they going to be too late? So
So
what was that last question?
so let me ask. So I said, would Americans start using China's system? And you said that's the only one that works. So how would China respond with respect to America and us not having a system and them having a system that works? How would all of a sudden they be connected or disconnected to us in terms of these transactions, the financial transactions of everyday Americans?
Okay. Well, yeah. One thing is that China is ready to take over. They want to take over. It's hidden. I say it's hidden. I don't know how hidden it is. It's not hidden to me. Prophetically, I think there may be a lot of financial people that kind of talk about this stuff. But what we're talking about tonight is that if China was the only system that had set up and been practiced and used, what do you think these grocery stores are going to do that want to sell groceries to you? The people that want the grocery stores that want to sell groceries to you and the gas pumps that want to sell gas to you and paying your bills they want you to pay your bills. What do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to wait for Texas to get off their lazy cahooties and get with it? No, they're not going to wait. They're going to say, China, we will accept your system. So they will automatically accept that system into their system, and then they'll start working it into the American system or all over the globe. And this is what they want, is global dominance. And this is the closest thing they're going to have without going to war. And war's not going to really do it anyway. They can't really they can do some things with war, and they will eventually. But right now, what's going on is that your grocery store, wherever you shop, when the dollar falls, they're going to say, we have no way of transacting dollars. And so what are they going to do? They're going to say, China's going to come along and act like American systems, They're going to act like they're, the good boys, and they're going to say, "Oh, we can save you because we got a system we've been using for a long time. All you got to do is agree with us that your money goes through our system, and then once it does, you can give debit. We will send debit card and credit cards to your people, and they will be able to buy food." But see, some people are going to know it's China, but most people are not going to know it's China. Is that kind of what you're asking me?
No, but that's helpful for you to point out to us that we could be under a Chinese system without people perceiving that that's what we're under.
Right. What's going to be the latter day thing? You talk about the end times a lot. What's going to be the latter day thing? Deception. It's going to be the biggest thing of all, right?
The biggest thing of all is the one world government and the one world religion. The Antichrist working in tandem with the false prophet, the final pope.
Right, but yes, but what I'm trying to say is deception is going to be the big thing. All that's going to be centered around deception, and so deception. What I'm trying to say is that China, which is we're naming them as the dictatorial system that's going to be set up, and that's why Texas and Trump need to get off their cahoots and get with this thing. I'm putting pressure on them right now to do something about this, to not just piddle around any longer and just go ahead and get the thing done, man, and start working that thing before this happens. And if they don't listen to this warning, which I think that they will, but either way, so yes, China's going to come along and fool a lot of people with deception. They're going to say, "Oh, they're not going to talk to you and say, okay, no, we're not Chinese, we Americans, we like you people. I mean, yes, we would love to have your money into our system." No, they're going to talk. They're going to talk like this. They're going to say, "Hey, Bubba, what's up over there in Texas? We love y'all guys over there. Y'all want to join our system? We're here to help you." And they're gonna look like American systems. They're gonna act like American systems, but they're not going to be American systems. And here's the problem: is that there's going to be so much desperation because the places that you pay your bills, the grocery stores and all that, they're going to be going like, we need some kind of system. And Texas didn't do it quick enough. Now we're without a way to do system, so we can go without a few months, but that's about it. And they're already going to be panicking, so they're going to be signing up real quick.
So, I see what you're saying. So, going to question number 8, what happens, speaking of the next few months, what happens in the next few months as people and us, we're looking for answers? What happens in the next few months? Well, as people are looking for these answers.
Yeah, and I still want to talk about some details on some of the things, but yeah, that number 8. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so they're going to just discover that the dollar isn't coming back because they waited too late.
Wait a minute, Randy. Randy, you're going so
before Texas is ready and the United States gets their stuff together and start getting that done. They're going to find out. The people are going to find out that the dollar is coming back. Right,
Randy, can you hear me
already? But we all know that the dollar is going to get messed up and not going to come back eventually. Okay, hey, you trying to say something to me?
Yes, you went so fast. That was the huge zinger that you let out there. You said the dollar is not coming back. So you're saying if this happens, if Trump is too late, then this is going to mean in short order that the dollar is not coming back. Can you just talk more about that? The dollar not coming back.
The dollar's not going to. Right. We all know that it's going to fail. I think everybody knows it's going to fail. But the thing is here's the big thing we're talking about tonight is when is it going to fail? I mean, really fail. When is it going to fail? Is it going to fail after Trump gets his stuff together? After Texas? Because this is not just about Trump. This is about Texas. They're going to work together in tandem. When I explain this to you guys of how Texas and Trump's system is going to work together, you're going to understand. It's awesome. But
Randy,
the thing is that's if the dollar fails after we have our system ready to go. But right now we don't have it ready to go. So
Randy, can you hear me?
Is that what we all know that the dollar, once the dollar crashes, that it's not going to come back. It'll never come back. Right? People don't realize that. So we're talking about it not coming back in two different ways. It's not going to come back. But go ahead. Do you have a question?
I just want to confirm So you're saying the dollar is never coming back.
Exactly.
So
Right. Once it goes down, it's never going to come back.
that's important. That's important for us to know. So once it goes down, it's never ever coming back.
Never. Why would they want the dollar to come back when Nixon did that stupid thing of, you know, taking the backing away from the dollar of real gold? You know, once he did that, it was just one stupid thing after another that we all did, and they knew better than to do that. Some of those people knew better, but there were some systems working behind the closed doors that wanted this to happen because of you know, where it's going to go now. So yeah, the dollar's going to fail. The big thing is this going to fail after? Because the reason I'm telling you guys tonight that they have very speedily, all of a sudden, Texas quit piddling around. As you guys know how frustrated I was with that. I kept saying they're going to pass it. They're going to no. I thought they did, but they didn't. I thought they did, but they didn't. I thought they did. But now they know what they. You know, I'm warning them too, but they know what's going on, and so they know it's very, very scary, and that China is doing more than just playing war games. They're playing money games, and they're trying to get the dollar to become worthless in any fashion, the way they can. They're trying to get some things to happen real quickly that will cause the dollar to go down. They've been working on it for years because they want the dollar to go down and crash, because if they do that, they know the dollar's not going to come back. And just like even if it crashed, you know, 2 years from now, and we were ready here in Texas, and the system that Trump has, if we were ready, even then, once the system get kicked in, the dollar's never going to come back.
So Randy,
why would they want the dollar to come back? So yeah,
Randy,
the thing is that we're trying to focus on right now is that what's going to happen is that all the companies are going to be going like, man, we're going to go out of business. Our family's going to starve. We're not able to sell food to people because we don't have a system to sell it. All right, here we go. Go ahead.
So Randy, it sounds like what you're describing is a trap. A trap. Can you tell us in a nutshell what is the trap that China is putting there for America, and then when does the trap close? So what is the trap, and when does the trap close?
Well, okay, if the dollar crashes tomorrow, China wins by default, not through force, not through war. Right? You understand what I'm saying? They're not going to have to fire a bullet. They're the only ones ready to function. Americans would adopt China's system voluntarily within weeks, at least within months, voluntarily. Y'all hear what I'm saying?
So Randy,
you're not threatening us, saying, "Hey, man, you want to eat?" This is the Antichrist system that we've been talking about for a long time. That is more now real. I'm going to start explaining it to you in layers, so you can get a hold of this thing. But China, we all know China and Russia and all those guys, North Korea, those guys are Antichrist people, right? So you're looking at what you're looking at right there. You might as well just say Antichrist, which the thing is going to be the head of that. And so Americans would adopt that system voluntarily within a few weeks, a few months, thinking that it's temporary. See, they're going to think that it's temporary. Then they're going to discover months later that they're trapped in a Chinese-controlled financial surveillance system. See, because China already has a surveillance system that is off the charts, as most everybody knows about, right? So they're going to find themselves, when they yielded to the financial thing, they're going to find themselves, we're already kind of monitored already in the U.S., so they're kind of used to it. So people are going to wake up. They're going to go, man, we're under a Chinese controlled financial surveillance system. The Texas system, September 2026 launch date becomes meaningless. So everybody's going to go, the thing we've been prophesying about, we're going to be turning around. I'm going to turn around and say, y'all, I tried to tell them 3 or 4 or 5 years ago to start doing this. And that we're going to have this. You need to get off of it and get with it. And then they just drug their feet. I'm not very happy with these guys. As a prophet, I'm talking about. So September 2026 is the launch date. That's the launch date. They're going to have to learn to work this thing, right? So the war is already over before it begins. You understand? The war is already over before it begins, and it will be done by by this financial thing that I'm talking about right now. Do you understand? Most people do not have a clue that what I'm talking about right now. Most people don't talk about this. This is a bunch of pieces of the puzzle put together in a very clear, distinct way, so that people can go, man, this is what's happening. We better pray. We better pray for Texas and get on our governors and get on our politicians' backside and put a little fire into them and tell them they need to get this done right now. Because you have people within the system that are already antichrist system people that are in the government. Of course, we all know that they're extreme liberals. They're there to make sure that this stuff doesn't get passed, and that we do drag our feet to the point to where China comes in, and then the lefts really did their job of going like, man, we helped China win that war, and therefore we're going to be like up in their way up in their kingdom, like governors, and we're going to be ruling with them because we helped them do it. And so when you see all this stuff happening, it's going to be unbelievable.
So, Randy, what does it mean? What does it mean for the trap to close? And tell us about what should happen before September of 2026.
Well, what should happen before 2020? 2026, for most of you don't know, that's the date, the actual launch date of the gold and silver bullion really becoming usable like money, which is what we're going to have. And of course, with Trump's cryptocurrency law passing. So if we don't have the basic rule here that I'm trying to say is that if we don't have that system set up when the dollar crashes, it doesn't matter if the dollar crashes tomorrow, we need to have it done by tomorrow. And see, the thing is that even if they have it done tomorrow, we still haven't had time to work that system. It will be better than September, than a year from now, if it crashed tomorrow, which we're not saying that it is. But if everything crashed tomorrow, then if we had it in place like the next day, then we could start working on it, and people could have a little bit of hope that, okay, we're running late, but at least we're not a year and a half down the road like they are right now. And so we may have to like do without as much food and not drive around much, and we have to shut things down for a few weeks, maybe a few months, and they will hurry up. They can legally, they can go into and vote and get that thing passed. They can get it all pushed forward pretty quickly, and then it can begin to work within the system. So if the dollar, here's the big thing: if the dollar crashes before that date, like just say now, and then we got what, a year and a half of doing what? No way to trade, no way to buy anything. That's what we're saying tonight. China's going to win automatically. And that's what they want to do. See, y'all don't realize, most people don't realize this is their strategy. This is their strategy. They're getting us distracted on all this other stuff. This is their main strategy. You don't have to fire a bullet. Don't have to go to war. Don't have to do anything. All right? So anyway, I may not be answering all the questions, so just ask him again.
So this CCSS, the Chinese controlled surveillance system, the strategy you described about winning the battle without ever having to launch a physical war, laying the trap where America reaches and is happy to allow them to take control of our financial system. What makes this strategy so genius?
Well, the fact that the way that they did it, and it's what makes it so genius, because it was pretty genius, pretty demonically genius, I think. But anyway, so China's 3 to 5 year head start becomes decisive. Right? They're the only working system when crisis hits. Americans adopt it voluntarily out of necessity. Americans will adopt this thing voluntarily out of necessity, not by force. That's why it's so genius. It's genius because they're not going to have to do it by force. By the time the U.S. alternative things are launched, like Texas and all that, China already has like 200 million Americans users. They're already going to have, this is going to be easy for them. 200 million American users will be like nothing. Because you got some desperate people who are hungry, going to take care of their children. Are you kidding me? They'll say, man, we love China, man. I wouldn't mind marrying a Chinese man or Chinese girl. Bring them on over. Yeah, I'm gonna, because they're gonna. So this network uh, affects. So let me go back and say that I get really excited with this. So when all this goes on, China's going to have, by the time we get our stuff going on, they're going to have about, you know, 200 million American users already. American users. Network effects take over. Everyone uses it, so you must too. So if 200 million people are using it, the genius part of this is several layers here, but the genius part of this is they got it all figured out, man. They're going to we're going to bust them up with some more dollar stuff. We're going to get them into wait till we talk about the Ukrainian war and the strategy of Putin. Who's Putin? Putin and China are best friends. These are Antichrist people. Putin has drugged Donald Trump into that war. No Joe Biden, Donald Trump. Spending what? Billions of dollars to do what? To suck us dry and doing it in a lot of different ways.
Absolutely.
The Biden administration, they're saying now that there's a lot of things that were signed that were not really signed by him, that he would have never signed some of that stuff into being launched. But they did it because he was not mentally capable of doing it with what they're saying. So, and I believe that because this whole strategy is being done from within. It's being done in Ukraine. It's been being done in Ukraine for a while. It's being done, of course, China and all these other countries have done all these things, and they really have put us in the position to where, our dollar is weak, and then they just kind of like take over without a bullet. They take over without even hardly saying anything. In fact, we're begging them to take us over.
Wow, the CCSS, Chinese Controlled Surveillance System, you use that phrase tonight. Randy, what's the key takeaway for our listeners and viewers?
Well, wow. Really, it's to prepare. I mean, to prepare for this. We're going to be talking about this a lot more in the future. But so, we've talked about the wise and foolish virgins a lot around here. I've talked about it a lot. Some of you have been listening, so you come off and on. Maybe you haven't heard us talk about it much, but I've talked about it a lot. And this is one of those things. We're going to be wise virgins or foolish virgins, right? This is why the wise virgin preparation is so critical. Precious gold, silver. Oh, not me. I'm a wise virgin. I did this for God's people, not for myself. We got gold. We got physical gold and silver. Now I don't have food stored up. I got a community network. Y'all in my community network. But in other words, the wise virgin preparation is so critical because you need to have physical gold and silver. You need to have a little bit of food stored up so that if Texas does finally get it together a year down the road, maybe we don't all starve to death. Maybe we won't all be freaking out and panicking. But you can see what I'm talking about here. So because they could go ahead and speed it up. They should be speeding it up right now. They shouldn't be waiting for launch to be in September of 2026. I'm rebuking that right now. And that's what I want you guys to do now. I want y'all to start praying with me. And those who are taking this serious, I think we have maybe a few people that ought to know by now that I'm not just here to, sell a book or try to get you to do something. I'm not asking you to do anything, but pray. I want you to pray about this because
and Randy,
preparation scenario is going to really kick in. And
yeah,
so
Randy,
have physical gold and silver. We have that. Food storage, that's an individual thing. Community networks, working together with communities are the only things that help people avoid this trap during those critical first few months when China's system looks like a lifeline, but it is actually a trap. It's going to look like a life. They're going to make it look like a life. They've already got it all prepared out. They've already been using it. They've been inundated us with like TikTok. I mean, I'm not saying TikTok, I'm not saying TikTok is that, but it could be. So what's happened is we have adjusted to the China syndrome. We have been deceived by China, thinking that it's American or that it's okay. They're not really trying to do anything, man. I mean, come on. So if it takes Texas and the United States of America to if they don't have that net out quick enough, see, that's going to be the problem. because what they're trying, the man-made crash that I've talked about for since November, I think of 2023. I've been talking. God finally showed me it was a man-made crash of the economy, because they're trying to build a net with all this stuff, which they're a little bit. I think they're a little bit later than they should be. Not that they're too late, but let's say that they don't get it done for 3 months, and the dollar crashes tomorrow. Just as an example, it's not going to, I don't think, but just say the dollar crashes tomorrow, and then in 3 months. So if you have a little bit of physical gold and silver and food stored up, and you're kind of finding people that like-minded like you, you may be able to avoid the trap that's been set for the first few months, when China's system looks like it's the way to go, right? But it's actually a trap. So does that make sense?
It makes sense. So if you had to make a recommendation about whether people need a Texas Bullion Depository account or not, what would you say if somebody says, Randy, is that a must? Do I absolutely need to have an account with the Texas Bullion Depository? What would you say?
Well, I say everybody needs to do that. Yeah, I think it's the new thing. We prophesied about that, as most of you guys know. Many of you don't realize the timing that we did it. We did it around the time Biden was elected, for sure. And so those 4 years, we talked about it a lot, and about having our own, satellite system. And I didn't have a clue. Honest to God, I had no clue it was going to be Elon Musk. And then all that came into play. And then we gave the word about Trump inviting the king of Babylon in, if he got elected. 3 weeks before the election, I sent out a text to everybody saying, hey, I'm going to tell you something really important tonight about Trump. I said, in 3 weeks before the election, we said the word of the Lord was that if Trump gets a second chance, just like Hezekiah did, King Hezekiah, he's going to do just like Hezekiah did. Now, this is so amazing. This word was so amazing. When God showed it to me, I went, man, that's amazing. Because I would have never known, right? And so, sure enough, Hezekiah showed the treasures to the king of Babylon. They became really good friends. And then later on, it kind of messed up some things. Same thing with Trump. What's the first thing Trump did? He didn't know Elon Musk was going to be part of his system until he got elected. So this was 3 weeks before the election, before he even got voted in, much less a few weeks after he got in. Then he decided to let Elon Musk in, and then a little bit later, he started letting him look into the treasuries, right? So this wasn't done. This was done weeks and weeks after I prophesied that. So,
Randy, may I ask? I just want to make a point of clarification. I want to ask, because some folks are maybe new to PGN and not familiar with you. So you're making a recommendation that folks should absolutely have an account with the Texas Bullion Depository. Do you have any financial incentive to make this recommendation? Like, for example, is it possible for you to benefit in any way? Like, let's say 5 people decide to open accounts. Do you get like a kickback or a finder's fee, or is there any financial? Do you have any financial incentive or investment in that?
Yeah, I don't even know if they. I don't think do. They have that kind of a system. I don't even know if they have that or not. No,
I don't. I'm not aware of that. I just want to be clear. Do you have a reason to?
No. In fact, you don't even have to. You'd have to recommend me, and I'm just telling you, if they ask you that, don't recommend. Don't say, yeah, Randy Chandler did this. Don't even tell them. So that way, there won't be any incentive at all. No, there's no. I don't get anything out of anything.
Okay, I know that. I know that, but I'm just asking so folks can hear that. And you mentioned that you're not doing this to sell a book, and I just want to be clear. Do you sell anything on PGN? Is there anything that folks can buy?
No, we've never sold anything. When I started PGN up and we were getting our website together, as every ministry does, you put in a store, right? And I put in the store together, and some prophet friends of mine showed me where to buy a pretty good piece of little software to make my website better. And so I was putting that in there, and I just paid, I think, like $75 for it or something. And I'm doing it, and I'm going at it, man. I'm gonna get the store going on so we can sell things like we always do, right? The Lord said, like, what are you doing? And I go, well, like in my heart, I'm like, well, you know what I'm doing. I'm putting a store in here so we can make a living, and ministers are supposed to get paid for what they do, right? And we could sell some things and make some money of it. And the Lord told me, he said, if you will not sell me, I will raise you up above them all. Just like that, just that quick and just that sharp. He said, if you will not sell me, I will raise you up above them all. And I didn't know who above them all was. I didn't know who them all was. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know what he was talking about. Above them all, who? Now, my neighbors, the whole world, my enemies, what? I didn't have a clue. And so now I'm starting to see that's exactly what he's doing. And so all this information that we give is because we don't sell anything. The Lord said, if you'll not sell me, I will raise you up. And so that was a pretty much of an incentive for me. That was a pretty good incentive, actually, for me not to sell anything. And even though that's not the reason that I did it because I felt like in those words was a brokenhearted, was a very disgusted Jesus, like he was at the temple when he drove out the money changers, that the grief in his heart that they were, merchandising his father's temple. And it really grieved. He was so grieved. He was so hurt by that it caused a lot of anger. Sorry. And when you really get hurt, friend, let me tell you something that comes out of you is anger. You get angry, right? We all get angry when we get hurt. Jesus was very hurt that they did not honor his father's house. It wasn't that he was bitter and and resentful, and he was just like that. He couldn't believe that they don't understand. This is the Father's house. This is a blessing. This is a place of freedom. This is a place where we give. We don't sell. We don't do that. We give. And so for God so loved the world that he gave Jesus, and Jesus knew he was the gift that was given, not sold. And so
may I ask you a follow-up
that really grieved the heart of God. And so it's very the incentive for me was, as the word began to multiply inside me, I began to feel the heart of Jesus. And what happened to me was, okay, Nicole, we'll stop. Okay, hang on a second. So what happened to me was that I began to lean on the breast of Jesus. I began to lean on his breast and feel his heart. And boy, you don't want to trade that for anything. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Amen. Amen. So, Randy, what I hear you saying is that you are not sponsored by Texas Bullion Depository or any gold company or silver company.
No.
That you're not selling a book. There's no, you have no financial stake in any of the things that you are talking about, and no person has the ability to influence you with finances because you don't accept advertisements. You're not getting any book deals or having people on to sell something, that you're 100% sponsored by Jesus Christ. God handles your finances.
That's a good way to say it. Yeah. I don't sell anything. We've talked about this a long time. For people that are brand new that don't know me very well, I really am angry that the ministers of the gospel of Jesus Christ are selling Jesus. In other words, they're selling the word of God, not just the scripture, but the things about him. The things about him, they're selling that. They're selling the revelation that they're getting from Jesus. And when you do that, you're selling Jesus. I mean, if you don't look at the word, if you and I don't look at the word of God as Jesus, then you probably want to relook at it again and look at that word as Jesus. The book of Revelation is a revelation of Jesus, of Christ. And because of that, you realize that those words and all those other words in the Bible are all revelation of Jesus. So what is it? It's Jesus. So what are you selling? You're selling Jesus, man. So no, we don't sell anything. We're not trying to make any money off anybody. I get blessed and God takes care of me because we give everything away. We have no interest in anything, trying to make money off of anybody in any fashion or any form at all. Now, people can give if they want to, but that's up to them, and we gladly receive it. We do it with joy and a lot of fun, but there is no selling anything or trying to wheel and deal and manipulate people into giving. Right.
Okay. And I knew the answers. I thought I knew, and I did know the answers to those questions, but I had to ask them because I think that's important for people to know. People are trying to figure out, why is this man saying these things? Is it possible that he is, they have all kinds of thoughts. So when people know for a fact that you're giving information that's the word of the Lord, and you do not benefit financially in any way from
No.
what you're describing, that can help them make decisions about what they want to believe or not believe.
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing. I mean, it's absolutely nothing. We write songs, we do songs. I've taken a lot of my music in another direction, but the ones that we've been working on here, and we've been kind of putting into the PGN system, are still there, and we're still doing that. But I've kind of changed a lot of that. But no, we don't even sell our music. We don't sell anything. We don't ask anybody for. I'm going to send you our music and our whatever our information. If you send us, a dollar even or nothing, we don't ask for anything. So it's so this whole system of manipulation that we're talking about tonight with China is just another type and shadow of the ministries of the gospel of Jesus Christ, or that's what they call themselves. And I think they really do love Jesus. I think they really love God, but they're so compromised. And so this is a type and shadow of what the shepherds that are supposed to be shepherding us, not just of our ministries, of our gospel, but of the globe. Our politicians, they're supposed to be taking care of us, not trying to see how much money they can get out of you while they labor among you. Trying to. So this is all just a system that's got into everything, and God is trying to take care of it, and He's using me to do it because I chose very simply just do what I always did, what all my other friends do, all my other minister friends did. We all just, we had a store, we sell things. This is what you do. It's normal. Nobody thought about it. I never thought about it being wrong. It never was wrong until the Lord said, He didn't tell me, He didn't make me do it. He didn't push me into a corner. You do this. If you sell me, I'm going to chastise you, boy. He didn't tell me. It was a heart of love saying, Randy, if not, you better not. You know what I mean? If you will not sell me, I will raise you above them all. So, and I felt his heart in that, and it really motivated me and got in me more and more as I talked about it. I started getting more understanding about it all. So it's the church system, the religious system, even our system of charismatics, and some of us Baptist, Methodists, some of these preachers have gotten so far off. They still love God, but they've so compromised that God can't really share His really private secrets with them, though they can get some really nice stuff, good teaching, that kind of thing. And But as far as the secrets of His secrets, He doesn't tell them, and that's why He tells them to me. I get secrets of secrets. I'm not saying that other people don't get secrets or things from God. I'm not saying that, of course not. But I am saying that because I've chosen to not sell Him. And He's very, very happy with me because of that. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect human being. I get upset sometimes. I want to, get upset and really let people have it sometimes because of the stuff. But other than that, it's just. So I am, God loves. He's really happy with me because of that one thing. Really happy with me, and so it makes me happy when He's happy.
Amen. Amen. Randy, I hope I was helpful tonight. I love getting to be a part of PGN. This is amazing. I'm asked the questions, but I'm going to go back and listen. Listen to this again to make sure that I've actually absorbed what you've been talking about tonight. Not your personal ideas, but what the Lord has shown you through prophetic revelation, giving your prophet as a mantle, which has been proven. So this is amazing. It's incredible. It started Monday, July 21st, with the interview that Prophet Randy Chandler had with Daryl Paul. Is continued day 2, Tuesday, July 22nd. So I think this looks like a series that you're doing to prepare us for the possibility of the Chinese controlled surveillance system and what America needs to do to make sure that we don't fall into the trap.
Right, and to prepare. And so if Texas doesn't do everything perfect, and I'm putting pressure on them by the Spirit of God, as God gives me the grace to do that. And so we're putting pressure points on there. Plus, when a true prophet prophesies, It doesn't mean you're some really great, powerful person. It just means that you have a gift in a certain area. And mine happens to be as a prophet. And so because of that, my words carry a lot of weight because the words that I give, are God's words. And when they are God's words, they're very heavy. And so they go out into the atmosphere. They not only get on the internet and spread with that, with all the surveillance systems that they have. Believe me, they watch me. They've been watching me for a long time, and I'm glad they're watching me. I willingly give myself into watch whatever you want, do whatever you want. Stick your nose wherever you want to stick it. It doesn't make any difference to me because number one, I don't have anything to hide. Number two, God is with me. He's proving it to me more and more every day. So I'm not afraid of anything. If I am afraid of anything and don't know about it, He will surely take me through that fear, and I will have to conquer it. Right? As far as I know, I have no fears. I have no fear of death. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm not trying to, be famous. In fact, most of the things I do defame me. They do not. They inflame me. No, they actually deflame me as far as the natural world goes. But as everyone can see, like our words about the crashing of the not the crash, the Elon Musk thing was one of them that we were in the global news. I'm not global news for month after month on that one, getting billions and billions of hits every day, billions of hits every day. And then then the Iran thing, the nuclear sites being bombed, we gave that specific word 13 months before it happened, which is having to be 13 months is really amazing. And he did it on the 13th, which is even more amazing. And then Trump came along and did his thing. They're working together on it, and now the Iranian regime will be going down before long, and that word will be in the news. So we've been in the news we've been in the news month after month. So the hits that we get are more. I'm not trying to say we're better than anybody else. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that when you do what God says and you don't sell Him, He will raise you up above them all. I mean, them all. That's what He told me He would do, and now I can see that happening. It's very clear, very plain, very beautiful, and very awe-striking, actually, for me. But yeah, we're going to be in the next. I have I'm looking at them right now. I have you know, oh, 20 to 30 whole things like this that and actually more than that. I have actually more than that, but that I'm ready to do the question and the answer thing where people can kind of get a hold of it. But so yeah, we're excited about it. So, all right, Nicole, anything else?
That's everything. Thank you,
That's good.
Randy. It's a
All
pleasure
right,
to,
thank you.
to come on with you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, bye. All right, so we're back on tonight, and thank you for last night. We had our friend Daryl Paul on. Tonight we have Nicole, both from DC. And next Monday, I've been asking people to respond to if they want to come on and do this question and answer thing. It's kind of fun. Get to be involved in PGN a little bit here with us. And so next week, I already have an approval, an agreement. Only one person agreed so far, and that is Angela. Other people are sending me back texts going like, yeah, okay, we can try that. Let's see what goes on. So we're going to see what happens. And if people can't come on with me when I need them to, then I'll find a different way to do the question and answer thing so that we can really make it clear and plain what needs to be said to our people so that I can get the blood off my hands, in every area, in every way, and truly share the love of Jesus with information that we get for free, absolutely for free. All right, so there you go. So anybody have anything else that they want to talk about tonight? Let's see, we got Hazel. I don't know who this is right here, but they want to talk to me tonight. All right, 769. You wanted to talk? You have your hand up? I guess not. Probably not. All right, 769-220. All right. I am connected, I think. Okay. All right. Very, very good tonight. I also wanted to talk about some other things, but So does anybody have any more questions? So I haven't looked at my stuff here. Let's see. We must be praying and listening to what God has to say. That's the real shells. Oh, that must be yes. All right, that's Terrence. All right, so thank you, Terrence, for that. Our dependence on systems outside of God has been our downfall. Yeah. All right, Bejan says God is good. Thank you for that. A good day, Prophet. Okay, good to have you tonight. Glad to be here. Anybody else have anything they want to say about the information that we shared tonight? We're going to be doing this fairly regular for the next little while. We may not do it like every week, but maybe. Angela says, I was thinking that too, if God would grant a little more grace, especially now. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? If I was thinking that too, if God would grant a little more. What are you talking about? I'm not sure. You might be talking about something I talked about a little while back. When you said pray. Okay, thank you. Yes, when I said pray. All right. We say a lot of things, and then I go back. I finally get to go back and look at the text that people wrote like 5 minutes ago or an hour ago, and then I'm not sure what they mean, so I have to ask them. So thank you for that. Yes, we need to pray. We need to believe God for breakthroughs with all that. And all right, so we did pretty good tonight. You said pray earlier. Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. Anybody else got anything they want to ask or share or whatever? I will be glad to hear that tonight. So, all right. One of the things I wanted to talk about tonight was what makes a real prophet. Some people think they're a prophet because they get words of knowledge. The gift of the word of knowledge works inside them, and they get information that is by the gift of word of knowledge. Sometimes women are very the inclinations that they have. Women are just powerful with that, man. I mean, like wow, they are like extremely sensitive. Women are more connected to their emotional realm, which is a really good thing, right? And so, let me see here. Hang on a second. All right. So we've been talking about two systems for a while. I'm going to go back here just for a second and get into this. The two systems, because right now we have two systems trying to work, right? Y'all see that? You can kind of see that you have China and Russia trying to separate themselves from the dollar. And they're trying to set up their own system. Does that makes sense? They're right now doing that. That's pretty well global news. Everybody knows about that. That China and Russia and North Korea, they're tired of being sanctioned by the dollar, by the West, by the America, and so they have been working a new system for a long time. And so that's a system, and then our dollar system. That's been two systems. So now that when they say the system by the Texas depository and all those laws going into action, and we actually have a way to do transactions with that's backed by gold and silver, that's going to be like really strong. But it needs to be activated sooner, in my prophetic opinion, right? So while that's going on, as you can see tonight, China and Russia, they're getting their own system too. They're joining together. They're so sick of the dollar sanctions on those, and they can't do anything that America doesn't like, or we sanction them. So right now, what they're doing is they are joining together to form their own systems. Wouldn't you, if that was you, when you do the same thing? Of course you would. I would do the same thing. So that's what's happening. We see two systems forming like that. Because people have told me many times there's not two systems, Randy. There's only one system. That's the Antichrist system. And he's going to run everything. But that is not true, friend. You can see it happening as we talk. You got the U.S. approving cryptocurrency. You got Texas putting together is known as a hub. and we'll be not just a hub for America, but we'll be a hub for the globe. The ones that want to be free, the people that want to be free, but the people that want to be part of the Antichrist system, that China, Russia, and all that, and a lot of them will be because they're very duped. A lot of them can't get out of that system because they're locked into that system. They can't get out. They want to get out, but they can't get out. So that's just one small informational about that. But when you see that there's two systems right now, the other one is rising up, and it's called China and Russia. And our dollar system, which is a whole other system, is about to crash. It's crashing. And as it does that, we are forming another system, which is what Texas is doing and what Trump is doing with the U.S. And to those who agree with it, will be part of our Texas system. To those who don't, will be part of the China-Russia system, right? So what we need to do tonight is pray that the dollar makes it until Texas gets ready, or Texas gets ready sooner. So let's put pressure on them in prayer and ask God to get that system going. I know it takes time to get a system like that all in through America, and every system in America. It takes some time to do that, to work it into it, because it's going to be kind of foreign to it to a certain degree. Now, we already have one thing good about it. We already have debit card. We already have the system is set up, but we just have to add the things that we're adding to it to give a safety net for when the dollar is no longer worth anything. We will have a system just like China has a system. We will have a system for those who who want to be free and don't want to be part of the Antichrist system, that they will have their own system. So people that have been saying there's not one, they just don't want to believe it, because it's obvious that we already basically have two. China and Russia have been using theirs for a long time, doing oil trades, doing goods. They use a whole different. They don't use the dollar. That's how come the dollar's gotten weaker, because all the people that they sanction don't want to use the dollar anymore. See what I'm saying? So, yeah. So we brought this to ourselves actually, and so and if they save it, it'll really be good. And I think that they will. I think because I have a word of the Lord about it is why I think that they will, because God spoke to me about it, and I spoke about it, at least a couple of years before it was a blink in anybody's eye, as far as literally, putting all that together. Right. Okay. So Angela says, so when you say China will lock people in with their system, there's almost like taking the mark if they can't get out. Yeah, something like that. It's close to that. I don't know if taking the mark would be it, but it would lead to the mark. You see what I'm saying? Once you get inside, this is something from Angela from South Carolina. He says, so when you say China will lock people in with their system, that's almost like taking the mark if they can't get out. It is sort of taking the mark. Yes, it is the process of, it's like putting you in prison cells, and starving you to death because you can't get out. And then if you take eventually take the mark because you want to eat and live. Some will compromise, some will not. Right. So we have to realize that. So just when you think about North Korea, how many people have escaped from North Korea? Not too many. Yeah. So Angela Joy, Deborah and Mark say, praying with you, Randy, for God's people to heed the warning and prepare and rebuke this from occurring in September 26th. Yeah. Thank God they are on the road, and so nobody knows when the dollar's going to crash. I do not have a specific word on the date of that crash. I got a specific word on the date that it was going to begin, and that's 6 days after the war began in Gaza. I had that 2 years in advance, as I've talked about many times. I don't know if Deborah's listening right now or not, but in case you are, you listen to the archive, you can hear this. Thanks for asking it. Thanks for saying that, praying with it. Because what we're trying to get people to do is pray, not that the Antichrist is not going to come, all that stuff's going to come. But what we need to pray is preparation for people that want to be able to overcome it. See, that's what we're talking about. So if Texas is ready, and they get it done sooner, like in May, because what I prophesied was that a year and a half after Trump got elected, about a year and a half, which is 2026, May, June or July, somewhere in there. And in that period of time, that's when we're going to see a major shift. And so that's why you hear me, you know, sounding the alarm. Sounding the alarm is because the information that I got was a year and a half into Trump's uh, term that we would see a definite manifestation of what we have been talking about here prophetically for quite a while, actually. And so it's been a process. I haven't understood all of it. I've understood a lot of it, most of it, but there's some of it that I haven't understood, like the man-made crash. I did not understand that. God had to really, you know, take me aside and talk to me about that because I didn't have a clue. There's never been a man-made crash that I know of, and so I didn't even know what that was. Like a man-made what? What do you mean a man-made? So I didn't have a clue what that was. So now that we've kind of got a handle on the man-made crash situation and why the date that he gave me was not the date it was going to fall, but the date that the door was going to open up for it to come to a closing point. That the door was beginning to close, and on that date, October the 13th, 2023, 6 days after the war in Gaza, which Gaza was the trigger point for it all, as the angel told me in 2005, January 11th. A massive merger's coming, he told me. 8 months later, Gaza was given over and literally taken over by the Palestinians. That was the trigger on the gun was cocked back. And then when Hamas hit through Gaza and killed all the Israelis on my birthday, that was when the trigger was shot, literally shot the trigger for the collapsing of the old system and the beginning of a new system. So it's not the end of the world. It's just a changing of major systems. You understand what I'm saying? It's not the end of the world. Everybody understand that? We're not blowing a trumpet. It's the end of the world. We're not saying that. We're saying that it's about to be the beginning of a new world. And we need to be prepared for that because the transition period from going to the old system into the new, some people are going to get stuck with China and Russia. They're going to be deceived. But so when Texas gets it, we need to pray that Texas gets it going, like Deborah's saying, that thing gets changed. And I think it will. I think they're going to look at, I've already given that date. When right after Trump was elected, I gave the date that within a year and a half. I have to look back and see that day I gave that word. That God gave me that word. Right after Trump was elected, I said a year and a half into this, we're going to find that's going to be the trigger point for the system to actually, not the trigger point, for the manifestation of it, of what we've been saying actually happening. Not thinking about happening. It's going to launch in 2026, but it needs to launch before that because then we have to experiment with it and work it. It's not going to be that difficult because, like I said, we already have a system of checks and balances on, but they're just going to be adding to the dollar. I mean, they're going to be adding to it real gold into the system. And so that's going to just change the system. It's not going to totally redo it, but it's going to be there. It's going to be there so that when the dollar does crash, if they do it on time, the system that they're doing in Texas and the cryptocurrency is going to be there as a net so that when the dollar does fall, it doesn't just flop everybody out and mess them up. The crypto law and the Texas the bullion depository and all the laws with that are going to be the net that's going to catch it when the dollar goes down. Does that make sense? I'm trying to find ways to make it clear, y'all. I understand what I'm saying, but I'm not sure if I make it clear for other people to understand it. Okay, so thanks for your help tonight. Telling me Nicole was trying to talk to me. I did not know that. It's a big delay between you and the woman asking questions. It seems like you're not hearing her. Right. We got to work on that. Y'all pray for me that we'll work on that. Okay. Tanisha says, I would like the turbo link about the U.S. dollar weakening, please. Yes, thank you. We'll get that right to you. Let me see. Get that right now. I think I have it already set up for. Yes, I think I have it right here. I'm going to do that. Anybody else want that link for last night's show? Where we're explaining how the dollar, how it all got started with the dollar. Uh, okay, we'd be glad to do that for you. Okay. If anybody else wants that link from last night's show where we kind of do the breakdown on how the dollar got there or is getting there and how the, why, how it's all going to work and how it's working. Tonight we did part two, taking it a little bit further that if the system went down completely, like right now, what would happen? Just to kind of let people know of what we're going to be saved from and how China has a plan for all this. Trust me, I'm gonna get in trouble with that one because I'm opening up a strategy. Put the link in the chat. Okay. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good idea. Terrence says, I think it's Terrence. Terrence said put the link in the chat. Okay, so let me see if I can do that. Where is that at? I don't know where it's at. I'll come up here. Okay, I'm going to try to do that. Thank you for that info. Uh,
That's just a title, Randy. That's just a title. That don't mean nothing to me. I know who I am. God knows who I am. I'm already ordained in the.
okay, I'm trying to find that. I don't know. All right. Let's see if that did it. I don't think they let you post those things. I don't know if that'll post or not. Okay, there it is. I'm not sure if that's going to work or not. They usually don't put links in there. Okay, there you go, Terrence, and whoever else wants it. So grab it there. Um, all right. So anybody else got anything else you want to say tonight? It's only 9:51. It's not even part of 10 o'clock yet. I have some things I want to talk about, but I need, I don't know where to go, how to go there. It's kind of late to start a whole teaching thing. I want to do a teaching thing tonight, but I think I'm going to wait till tomorrow night, or I think I'm going to talk about tomorrow night about whether you're a true prophet or not. Some people have the gifts of the Spirit, and the gifts of the Spirit make it look like they're a prophet, but it doesn't necessarily make you a prophet, right? As far as being a prophet is a unique individual. just like an apostle, just like a pastor, is a very unique individual. A true evangelist, a God called evangelist, is a very unique individual. A true, like I say, a true pastor is also a very unique character with God, and they're all different characters. And so a prophet is a whole different character. And if you think you're a prophet when you're not, because you get a word of knowledge, like I've gotten a lot of words of knowledge over the years, and I had people tell me, "Oh, that's a word of knowledge. That's not a prophetic word." I'm going like, "Yeah, okay, and but what does that have to do with that?" So just because you get gifts of the word of knowledge flowing through you, and you understand and you get information about people or situations, that you don't have uh, normal knowledge of, that doesn't make you a prophet. It just makes you definitely flow into the gifts of the Spirit, right? Just like a woman. Women have are very strong in inclinations, and so let me see if I'm trying to find that where I put that. Okay, something like that. Really. Yeah, I really recommend that you keep up with this stuff. If you have to listen to the archive, whatever you got to do, I really recommend it. We're not selling anything. We're not trying to get you to do anything, as most people know. But what we're doing is giving you powerful information. And we're trying to inform you in a very simple, easy way where you're going to go, wow, I didn't know that. So we're putting it together in a very simple term for people like me that need to have it simple. Some people say you get one of those books that's for dummies. It doesn't mean you're dumb. It just means you don't know much about it. So they put it in a way that you can understand it. That's kind of what we're doing with this. We're kind of doing that with this. So I know what it's like for people to tell me some really great information, and I can't get it because I'm going like, oh, what was that? Yeah. And I want to talk about women just for a minute. Women are amazing creatures, as we all know. Just like every creature is a different creature. Women are very special creatures, of course, uh, and so women can have, they tend to be psychologically more in touch with their emotions. You know what I mean? Women are that's the beauty about a woman. It's the glory of a woman is to be in connection with their emotions. They're very in touch with their emotions, and God made them like that, and it's a beautiful thing. It is a absolutely glorious thing, right? And so, and they're more likely to get hunches and emotional intuitions about people than anybody. I mean, Julie, my wife, she used to get intuition. If she told me somebody was not at this point was not a good person, that I shouldn't be doing business with them or whatever, maybe try to win them to Jesus, but not don't do business with them. Usually she was right, because she would feel that. She would feel. She may not know exactly what the problem is, but she would have an intuition about it that I wouldn't. And so, but that's not being a prophet. It looks like one. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing, but it does not make you a prophet, right? And so, a lot of women who are who really work their intuition, which is a God given thing, and to the point where they pick up a lot of things, they start thinking they're prophets because of that intuition. Intuition is not even a supernatural gift. To me, it's supernatural, but it's not a supernatural gift. To me, it's like high level sensitivity, which it's amazing, right? And so, uh, and it's like a woman or a man, both can flow in the gift. I've flown the gift of the spirit of the word, gift of the word of knowledge a lot. I've been doing that since I got saved or baptized in the Holy Spirit. So for a long time, I've been, walking in the gift of the word of knowledge, where I just all of a sudden would know something about somebody and not even know that I knew it. You know what I'm saying? But that did not make me a prophet. Was I a prophet? Yeah, but that doesn't make you a prophet. Some people get a few gifts of the word of knowledge going on, and they're really very pure and very beautiful. I'm talking about the gift and the person. And so they start thinking they're a prophet. It happens to the best of them. And this is not a criticism about people at all. It is just a fact that I have grown with, that I've seen that especially women. Women really are strong in this area, and it is a beautiful thing for especially their husbands or their children or their families or their business partners or whatever. It's beautiful, but it is not a supernatural gift. It is a gift from God, but it is not a gift of the Spirit of God. It is a gift of a woman and a heathen woman. You know, a heathen woman who doesn't know Jesus can have that gift flowing, that intuition flowing, you know, powerfully and never be saved. Right. So we know it's not a, a supernatural gift from God, a gift of the Holy Spirit. It is a gift that women have, and it causes them to be very psychologically in touch with their emotions, and which is an absolute amazing, beautiful thing. Right. But in the context of Christian spirituality, intuition and the gift of the word of knowledge, uh, you know, are does not make you a prophet. Even though the gift of the word of knowledge is powerful, and that's a gift of the Spirit. I mean, you all of a sudden know something about somebody or something that you didn't know, and you don't have any knowledge about who they are at all. That when I flow in that's not the prophet in me talking. That's the gift of the Spirit in me talking. Right? The prophet in me does a whole different thing. The prophet in me, yes, flows with the gift of the word of knowledge and all the other things it flows with, but having the gift of the word of knowledge or having tremendous intuition as a woman who can feel and sense things and be right about a lot of things does not make them a prophet, right? It makes them valuable, very valuable, especially when they learn how to interpret it, you know, and figure out that intuition doesn't tell them everything, it just tells them enough. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a really beautiful thing. But this is kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight, as far as a little teaching. So I'm going to share just a little bit of this tonight. It's something that's been on my mind because I've seen a lot of because when a woman or a man starts thinking they're a prophet because they flow in the gifts, because they have a great intuition, it really messes them up because then they start trying to be a prophet, and when you try to start be something that you're not, then it really messes you up. It messes up your emotions. It messes you up in a lot of ways because you start trying to be something that you're not, right? So is your intuition important as a woman? Oh my gosh. It's just, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's a gift of the word of knowledge, which comes from the Holy Spirit, which can flow through a human being, any man or woman. But does that make them a prophet? No. But does it make them a powerful gift from God that does amazing things? Absolutely. Just like having the gift of miracles doesn't make you a prophet, right? A lot of people, they start flowing in the power of God, they start thinking right away, I'm a prophet. You know, and they could be a prophet because Elijah flowed in miracles, right? He was a prophet. So you see what I'm saying? So this is something I want to start talking about. I may talk about it again tomorrow night a little bit more, but so the reason that I'm talking about it is not trying to demean people and say, you're not a prophet, you just think you're a prophet. It has nothing to do with that at all. And some people will take it like that, like you're just trying to say I'm not a prophet. Well, what I want to do is help you to quit trying to be something that you're not, if indeed you're not a prophet. If you just have great intuition, which is really amazing, or you even flow in the gifts of the Spirit of the word of knowledge, which is amazing, powerful stuff from God. Amazing, powerful stuff. Yeah, you can have healing gifts that flow through you, but does that make you a prophet? It does not. A prophet is a very unique, specific kind of individual, just like a pastor is, just like an apostle is, just like an evangelist is, just like a teacher is. That's when they're called of God. Very unique and all separate and different kinds of gifts. So when we mix them together, what we end up doing is causing ourselves a lot of emotional problems. And we add to our problems more problems because we're trying to be something, and because we really think that we are, not because you're trying to deceive anybody. I'm talking about men and women trying to deceive anybody. You really believe that you are because you have great intuition, or you are both men and women flow in the gifts of the word. I see some women flow in the gift of the word of knowledge. It's amazing. I mean, of the Spirit. Wow, like bong, man. You think, oh, that's a prophet. And the Lord said, that's not a prophet. That's one of my great gifts, Randy, working through that woman. She's not a prophet, so don't tell her she's a prophet because that's what we do with people. We start telling them they're prophets. Well, and I'm not talking about a pastor, I'm talking about specifically a prophet, because the prophet realm is really big. It's going to get a lot bigger in the next few months and years, as you'll see. As I'm talking, we're going to see a lot of this stuff come to the forefront. Because the main thing is like we've talked about the last few days, is that when the words that we get here as a prophet, not as a intuition that I get or a word of knowledge that I get, but as a prophet's information about, like Elon Musk. and then that, Trump letting him see the treasuries. I mean, nobody knew that. Nobody. Trump didn't even know it. Trump didn't even know he was going to have Elon in his government until after he got in the government. So that was done before that. That was a prophet work. And then he did exactly that. He let him in to look at the treasuries of the United States of America. Exactly what the King Hezekiah did. Exactly the same thing, which is what we said 3 weeks before the election. And so then we have the attacks on the nuclear sites. That was a prophet speaking there. That wasn't, I flown the gift of the word of knowledge, but that does not make me a prophet. I may have great discernment about things, but that doesn't make me a prophet. Now, it's part of being a prophet. It can help me in my prophet thing, but it does not make me a prophet. You see what I'm saying? So this is not a demeaning thing. We're not trying to criticize anybody and tell you that you're not a prophet. If you're a prophet, it will, what you are will show up even when you're not trying to be it. That's what happens with me. Uh, you know, uh, so, I, I've been through this. I've been through a lot of different stuff, not bad stuff, but just things with all this. Because, I was being a prophet when I wasn't trying to be a prophet. I didn't want to be a prophet, and I was doing prophet things, and I didn't even want to be one. I was trying to call it something else because I didn't want to be nailed as a prophet. I've told you all this story before, but I'm trying to bring it up because when you're a prophet, when you're a true prophet, you're going to get prophet things without praying, oh God, give me a prophet word. Please give me a prophet word. I don't pray for God to give me prophet words because it's just who I am and they just happen. I don't have to pray for it and ask, really beautiful, powerful prayers to go on a fast that I can be a prophet. You either are or you ain't. You either is or you ain't. And if you is, you is. You're going to be whether I say you are or not. But if you're not, even if I say you are and you're not, you're just not. Right? And neither am I. So I want to make it very clear because people get offended sometimes when you try. Are you trying to say that because I'm a woman, I'm not a prophet? No. Man, a woman can be anything. You can have a woman who's a mighty prophet who has great, intuition as a woman, which is not a prophet thing. And you can have a woman who can flow in the gifts of the word of knowledge and all that. And you can have all those things working in a woman. And man, she becomes, powerful. Why? Because she's a prophetess or a prophet. And she has her intuition working with her, which helps her on that, and the gifts of the Spirit working with her, and all those things together and make a woman a very powerful person. But you don't have to try to be powerful; you just will be. If you're loving Jesus and serving Jesus, you're going to find yourself just being that, right? You don't have to try to be it or try to convince people that you are. The words that you get will end up on global news month after month, with billions of hits every month. Billions of hits every month. Your name may not be mentioned. Your ministry may not be mentioned, but the words you gave precisely and specifically will be talked about on global news because they can't help but talk about it. It's what's going on. And that's what the prophet does. Now, the gifts of the word of knowledge that I've flowed in over the years were always a blessing to me. When I had a gift of the word of knowledge and it flowed, I went, and they said, what'd you say? I went like, huh? They said, what'd you say? I said, what do you mean? What I said? And they would say, well, you said this. I'm going like, well, did that? Because it sounds like you're a prophet when you get that, but you're not. Now, I was a prophet, but that didn't make me one. And it was not proof that I was one. So if you've had people tell you that you are a prophet, now to prophesy, it's a whole different thing. See, some people can flow in the gifts of prophecy. I think all people can prophesy. We talked about that in 1 Corinthians, that all people can prophesy. But it doesn't make you a prophet because you prophesy. Prophecy is like the gift of the word of knowledge. It's a gift that flows through you. It's a gift that flows through you. And when it flows through you, it's a gift. It's not the person as a prophet doing that, because if you're not a prophet, you can prophesy without being. So all this stuff is getting so jumbled together that it's not about, oh, you're going to call me, you're going to say I'm not a prophet. You're trying to kind of tell me that I'm not one. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has only one thing to do with anything. The fact that if you are trying to be something that you're not, you're going to be miserable. Like I was trying to be a healing evangelist. I was miserable. Were people getting healed? Were things happening? Yeah, they really were. On a fairly regular basis. I had a lot of healings. I had a lot of healings, a few miracles, right? And I'm talking about, proving in front of many different people. So, but yet it wasn't my thing. So I tried to be that, and trying to be that, and trying to work it. It was difficult and sometimes fun, but it was so laborsome that it was doing a number on me, and I was getting discouraged too often. Nothing wrong with getting discouraged once in a while, but I was being discouraged way too often. Why? Because I was trying to be a heathen evangelist when I wasn't one. It's like trying to be a girl when you're a guy. You get all the guy stuff, you were born with the guy stuff, and you're trying to be a girl. It makes people want to commit suicide. Like, right? You understand what I'm saying? So I want you to understand, I'm not saying or not saying anybody is or isn't a prophet. It has nothing to do with this little talk that we're having right now. And I think most of you who know me fairly well will know that I'm not attacking anybody in any sense or form or shape. I believe in women. I hang around Cindy Jacobs. Cindy Jacobs was a prophet. I mean, do I believe in women prophets? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Now there's not a whole lot of them that are real prophets. There's a lot of prophesiers. There's a lot of people, a lot of women that flow powerfully in the gift of the word of knowledge and in healings and all that. They're powerful, man. Powerful. But real prophets, very few. I don't know very many at all, honestly. I don't want to say the numbers because it's not many at all. Who I've watched with a understanding that a woman can be a prophet. Some people think I'm prejudiced against women being prophets. No way. No way. I've hung around I've hung around a pretty great one, I think. I don't know what's going on with her now, how she's doing. She's a sweet person, a good lady. I know her personally. She's a good person. Just a really good person. But when you merchandise, and I don't know if that's the deal or not, but when you merchandise, it messes you up. And so it's really frustrating when you got something really good from God and you mess it up with something like selling Jesus. You know what I'm saying? It's just like trying to be a prophet when you're not a prophet. You're going to be miserable. You're gonna always feel like everybody's telling me I can't be a prophet. Yeah, you trying to tell me I can't be a prophet? You calling me a Jezebel? And you're going to be dealing with that all the time because you're trying to be something that you're not. Now, when you stop trying to be that and you start being who you are, you're going to find yourself being happy, and you're probably going to flow more in the power of God, being who you are, than you were trying to be something that you're not. Because once you start being who you are, you're being yourself, the gift of God in you and yourself. Like I myself am a prophet who prophesies and flows in the gifts of the word of knowledge and sometimes healing and some other things. I'm sensitive in many ways also, but all that didn't make me a prophet. Being a prophet was I had a calling from God. Therefore, I don't even try to be I tried not to be a prophet, and I was being a prophet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to clarify this, not tell you what you are or you're not. I want you to be happy. I want you to be free. I want you to be. If you're a woman and you're a prophet, man, I'm for you all the way, baby. I'm for you. Oh, are you kidding me? What a privilege that would be to be friends with. Like I have had a friend that's prophet, and a good person, and a godly person, and a giving person. It's kind of hard to beat those kind of people. But the merchandising thing, I'm guessing, just really messed it up, and so that breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because we need all the prophets we can get, and the devil has used that system to take out a lot of us, a lot of them, and I would have been one just like them. God would have cut me off from the secret of secrets instead of just getting good stuff, and that's really saddens God and saddens me, honestly, because think of how much more powerful we would be with instead of a 10 prophets, we have 1,000 prophets, men and women. So if some of you out there think I'm not for women prophets, you're totally wrong. You just like you've been hurt, you've been wounded. I understand, but you're wrong about me, right? But I'm not going to call you something that God has shown because I don't want you to be miserable trying to be something that you're really not. Same thing with a man. Men are the same way. They start flowing some of the gifts and they start thinking, man, I'm an apostle, and they may not even be called to the fivefold ministry. What difference does it make? We talk about Stephen all the time. Stephen in the book of Acts was a person who was quote, only a deacon. And yet he flowed in power of God so much that they killed him for it. He was so powerful. The dude was like amazing. He was more powerful than most of the apostles. I mean, and he was just a deacon. So that's my thinking on all this. You can flow in amazing authority and power of God and not have a fivefold ministry calling anywhere near you. And if you are a fivefold ministry calling, it doesn't really make you more powerful or not. You just have to learn to grow in what you are. The sooner you find out that and quit trying to be something that you're not, the sooner you're going to be happy. The sooner your finances are going to flow. The sooner the less confusion you're going to have. Because it's confusing when you're like a man trying to be a woman. That's very confusing on the mind. You're trying to convince yourself you're a woman when you're born a man. Same thing, you're trying to convince yourself being a prophet when what you are is maybe a deacon. It can flow in the power like Stephen did. And so you're trying to be a prophet, so you never really enter into your deaconhood of authority and power from the Most High God and flow like Stephen did. Because you're trying to be a prophet. Just be what you are. Whatever that is. In Jesus, it will be dynamic and amazing and very powerful. All right. All right. So I hope you do understand that I'm not criticizing anybody, right? People say, oh, he's intending that for me. He's trying to say that we have a lot of different people that we minister to and talk to and share with me privately. I have people outside of PGN that I talk to and share with too. And so, no, not at all. Not at all. But just don't ask me to make you feel like you're something that you're not. And I'm not going to be part of making you miserable. I'm not going to be part of, because if I make you miserable by telling you things, make you think things that you're not, then I'm going to be miserable too. I'm going to be miserable watching you being miserable. And I don't want that. I want us all to be happy. So if you're quote, just a deacon, get ready. Because healings, resurrections from the dead, wisdom that confounded all the religious leaders, which were very, very smart people. That's what a deacon who's being a deacon is flowing in miraculous supernatural power and authority. So much so that they had to get rid of him as quick as they could. And then, what I love about this is then when they killed him, Saul, who became Paul, that's where the transition came. It came from Stephen's prayer when, as Saul's friends were all killing and stoning him, Stephen was saying about Saul, Father, forgive him, for he does not know what he's doing. Oh my Lord and my God. And that changed everything for that man. Jesus knocked him off his horse and got a hold of him. And it was powerful and absolutely powerful. Okay, so I want everybody to understand what I am saying and what I am not saying, so that you will know. I'm trying to make myself very clear the best I can. I know I didn't get a lot of scripture on that, but so either way, there you go. All right, so alrighty then. Let's. I want to do a. All right. Let's do a song. Let's do the butterfly song. What about that? How about we do that? Let's do the butterfly song, and then we'll see what else is going on. Thanks for being with us tonight. I am very grateful for you. I know we're getting into some things that are very, very important, and I hope you're able to hear them and know that I'm not trying to sell you anything or trying to scare you, but I'm trying to share with you the heart of God. I believe that at times I get to lean on the breast of Jesus, and when I do, it's pretty amazing stuff. It's called revelation from heaven. All right. I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find that. So where's the path? Guys. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's do this thing. All right, add that to it. All right, so we're gonna play the butterfly song real quick, and then we will come back and kind of go from there. Thanks for being with us tonight. I don't know if we're through or not. We may go on some more here. It just depends. But here we are. Here's the butterfly song. There you go.
Crawling slow upon the earth, bound to dirt with all my hurt, yearning for a second birth, a new beginning starts to stir. In order to fly, part of me had to die. My outer death opened what was left inside. The natural gave new wings to fly. The supernatural lifts me high. From shadow into light, from weakness into flight. Every change that sets us free shows what we were meant to be. Something stirring deep within, breaking free from what has been. What is this new life I feel? Heaven's touch begins to heal, breaking through my sheltered space. Change is dawning with such grace. In my struggle to break free, new strength flows abundantly. Empty vessels filled with water, standing still while dreams still falter. Need a touch of something higher to ignite divine desire. From shadow into light, from weakness into flight. Every change that sets us free shows what we were meant to be. Faith transforms what follows after. Simple substance turned to treasure, like the water into wine. Ordinary turns divine. In the waiting, in the changing, something greater is arranging. Every moment, every stage, writing wonder on each page. From caterpillar to butterfly, from water into sacred wine. Every change that sets us free shows what we were meant to be.
All right. Amen. Amen. Okay, Carmen sent something here saying, here's some scriptures about what you were talking about. All believers can function in these gifts. Absolutely. But not all are appointed to the offices, positions of apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, or teacher. Correct. Prophecy, we all can prophesy, but not all are prophets. You can all prophesy in turn so that everyone may be instructed you for the scriptures, Carmen. That's really great. 1 Corinthians 14:31 says what I was saying. So thank you for that. Jesus calls all to teach. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you. Matthew 28:19-20. Evangelize. We can all share the gospel. Do the work of an evangelist. Fulfill your ministry. Pastors, we can all have a heart to care, counsel, and guide. Bear one of those burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. Galatians 3:6-2. Apostles, we are all sent ones. As the Father has sent me, I also send you. But we are not all called to these. But we are all not called to these as a ministry. Right. So, like people can prophesy, but they're not a prophet. Right. I think she just shared it very beautifully in the scripture. Really true. Really, really good. So this is all we're really saying tonight. Okay. We're not coming against any particular group of people or anything. Right. There's nothing worse than somebody trying to push their prophet self, which they're not sometimes. And when they're not called to be a prophet or whatever, an apostle, and they're trying to push it in your face, like, oh yeah, you want to say that I'm not going to, when you hang around people like that, and I've hung around a few of them because, not that these were bad people, they were good people, but they were told something that was not true about them because they were very strong, maybe very strong in prophesying and very strong in flowing the gifts of the Spirit. And so people start calling them prophet. It's not their fault that they're acting like donkeys. They turned into donkeys because they got some donkey words. And, so that happens, man. We got to be careful. What I try to do is be careful that, because some people have so convinced them because somebody, maybe a well-known person told them, oh, I see you're going to be prophesying. So they go, I'm a prophet, and that doesn't necessarily mean that, as we all know that, but most people don't know that. So an apostle is a very special calling. Everybody can get revelation, right? Peter got revelation. A lot of people get revelation. The Stephen, who was not an apostle, was not a fivefold ministry person, got a lot of revelation. He was very, very wise. Got lots of revelation, but he was not an apostle, right? Like Paul the apostle was. So it's a different thing, because when you're an apostle, you get apostle revelation. But you can be an ordinary person and get revelation about a lot of things. But an apostle will get apostolic revelation about things that other people won't get, right? You also have a heavier responsibility on your life for that. So it's not exactly, it's not, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be bad. It's all good. Because when you're called to be an apostle, you can carry that. When you're called to be something that's of God, you can carry that because that's who you are. If you're not that, you're trying to carry, it's gonna be way too heavy for you. And it's going to make you miserable. It's going to mess you up, just like it has done me. Trying to be a healing evangelist. What's wrong with trying to be a healing evangelist? There's nothing. But I just wasn't one. Therefore, it made me miserable. My finances were flowing. And I can understand why a lot of these people have to do their best to try to get money from people, because their finances are not being blessed because they're not doing what they're called to do. They're good people. They love God. They're flowing. They may be flowing in the Spirit on some things. But if they're trying to be in an office that they don't belong in, it's going to be misery for them and misery for the people around them. And we don't want that for anybody. I don't want anybody to be miserable. Okay, so I think we talked that out pretty good. Thanks for those scriptures. Very good way you put that. Yeah, awesome job on that. I was going to talk about it at the very beginning tonight, but it didn't work out like that. Sorry for the mess ups on the audio with we're setting up a new way of doing things. We will get it working hopefully soon. Better. We're trying to find a way to do that better. We're working through some things. We have a new way of anybody enjoying the new way we're doing that? The interview thing. Do you like that, or would you like to see it done another way, or what? So let me know about that if you would, and that would be really, really awesome. So if you're called to, Carmen says, if you are called to be a particular ministry, you can have a mixture of the gifts, but dominate in the one they're called in. Yeah, if you're called to a particular ministry, yeah, that's what happened to me. I could flow in the gifts. I flowed in healing, some every once in a while, some real miracles, once in a while. And so you know, but yes, I always gravitated toward the prophet part of me, and I didn't want to. You have to understand, I didn't want to be a prophet. I didn't like the name. I didn't like. I read in the Bible about all these guys and all the suffering they went through and all the negative words they gave, and I thought, man, I don't want to be one of those. Even though I knew they were men of God, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to have that ministry because I didn't understand it. And then, the more I tried not to be it, the more I would do it. It's really weird. So I wasn't trying to be it. It beat me. It was taking me over, and I had really not much choice except to run away from God, which I couldn't do. So yeah, yeah. Hopefully, we're giving you some good information tonight about your everyday life and finances. Why the nation is getting kind of like in a not I don't know if a panic mode is we call it panic, but in a very hefty, quicker moving mode to get all this stuff done with the currencies because you know they don't tell us everything, but I'm going to tell you everything that I can. I will tell you everything that I can tell you about what China's really doing and what Russia's really doing, what their main strategies are. It's not about Ukraine. I mean, that's part of. Yes, he does want to take that over, but that's a sidetrack for the United States because now Donald Trump said, "I'll never get in that." He was very much against it. Now what happened? He sucked right into it. What's that going to do? It's going to suck the life out of us, more of it out of us. So, and that is the purpose for it. And so I see it all coming. And I think now that Donald Trump is in the office looking at the real books, and Elon Musk, I'm sure, informed him on a few things, that we are in deep trouble. It's just a matter of time. And so that's why we're praying tonight about timing. Pray that God will deal with those dates and move them up. And at least, even if they have to fumble around a little bit, at least we'll get the system going. I know it takes time to get those systems inundated into the other old systems, you know. Uh, but if they don't, when we wake up one morning and the dollars, you know, or, not wake up one morning, not necessarily, but wake up about 20 mornings or something, and all of a sudden the dollar's like, oh my gosh, we can't even trade in the dollar anymore because it's worthless. What are we going to trade with? Well, China has some stuff they've been working for, 4 or 5 years. By the time all this happens, it'll be 5 or 6 or 7 years. They'll have it, a lot of the bugs worked out. And what are we doing? We don't even have we don't have anything to have bugs in yet. So that's my whole warning, and it's very serious. And I hope you're not just saying, "Oh, this Chandler trying to, be a prophet again." No, I'm doing this because it's who I am, and I can't stop myself. Trust me, I am. I cannot stop myself. The only way I can stop myself was to, you know, walk away from Jesus, and I don't think I'd ever do that. There's no way. There's just no way. I'm leaning on His breast, and the more I lean on His breast, the more I hear His heart. And when you hear His heart, you understand Him. Hearing the heart of God doesn't just give you a bunch of great knowledge and power. It gives you understanding of who He is. And friend, when you understand who He is, it's amazing how you start living. When I heard the heart of God of Jesus saying, Randy, if you want to sell me, if you want, He wasn't being authoritative and ugly and mean. He was saying, Randy, like if you won't sell me, it's like your children walking up to you and say, Mommy, would you please not sell me anymore? Because those people are hurting me. You see what I'm saying? That's how I saw it. And that's how I see it. So if you're selling Jesus in any fashion or form, it doesn't have to be just quoting the word. It has to be some things about Him. If you're selling that, it's an abomination, and God will you will not enter you will not have the protection that you need, number one. That's why I will be very protected, because God really likes me, because I'm doing what He says. And I'm not selling Him mainly. And I say what He says, no matter what. That's why He really likes me. He wants to like you too. He loves you. He loves us all, but He wants to really, really like you. And he's not going to do that when you're selling him. It's a contradiction to his love. Like he's loving you and you're poking him with a porcupine. Okay, y'all, I think that's it for me tonight. It's only 10:30, but nobody has any questions. Nobody's really saying anything right now. So thank you for that. That's okay. You don't have to say anything. Just be yourself. And we're going to continue. Okay, Shannon says, someone tried calling me a prophet once. I got mad and said, don't even close. Not qualified. Don't want that mantle. Too much responsibility. Yeah, we'll talk about this in a second. Okay, so do you think we should get water purifiers and backup electronics or anything? I don't know. See the whole question that you're asking that out of, the reason we even brought any of that up was if the dollar breaks down tomorrow. All that warning I gave about getting food, getting a little bit of food and that kind of thing was more of if the dollar crashes like now and we don't have our Texas system, our United States system in place yet, so that we don't be forced to take the China system, because that's the strategy. And you're not going to hear anybody. I don't know anybody's talking about this. As far as I know, if they are, please let me know. I'd love to hear it. Okay, so the reason I even said anything is so he's asking me a question. Do you think I should get a water purifier? I think water purifiers are great. I don't know. That would be if you feel like you need to do that. Yeah, but the reason that I brought up getting food and that kind of thing wasn't because I'm saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that the potential's there. And if we're 3 months late on getting, we'll have 3 months where we can like make it for 3 months without bowing down to China and taking it willingly, because most of America will willingly take the China thing because they're going to deceive everybody and let them make them think that they're not China, but they're some great American, whatever. And then you buy into it and you find out you're busted. You got caught into it. You got trapped. And so that's my warning. My warning isn't that it is going to happen. You're going to need water and food. I'm just saying, it's kind of a think about it and get a little bit prepared. But I wouldn't get, I don't know. See, it just depends on when the dollar's going to fall. I think we're going to be okay. I think Texas is going to pick it up. I think that we're going to put pressure on them, and they will pick up the timing to May, maybe March, April, May. I don't know, somewhere right in there, about halfway, about a year and a half into Trump's term is in office. Been saying that for several months now, using that date for quite a while. All right. Also, do you think China could be to us like Pharaoh during the famine, where we give up things to survive? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think that's yeah. It's mainly because, see, you have to understand that when you say China, you should put China. When I put China, I should put China / Antichrist system to help people really connect to that China is going to be the Antichrist system. In other words, Nathaniel Rothschild is going to be ruling those people eventually. He will supersede them, not only as having banking in his blood, but having Satan possessing him is going to make him irresistible as a human being. You understand what I'm saying? When Nathaniel gets filled with the devil himself, that's going to make him extremely powerful as a human being. He's going to be like a human being on super duper steroids, who was already maybe pretty smart, and maybe a human being is already pretty, amazing. And then you go up 1,000 notches on who you are, or who you already were. You were already great. Now you're going to be like, amazingly awesome. So this is people don't have. We're going to try to talk about this stuff. I'm going to try to open up and talk about what the Antichrist is going to be like, just like we're talking about tonight. If the dollar went out tomorrow, what would happen? Chaos would ensue. It would be crazy. And then people will be trying to figure out where they're going to get food, and they can't trade, they can't buy it, they can't pay their bills anymore because the dollar system is down. You can't even get on there and use your debit card because it's all connected to the dollar. See what I'm saying? That's why That's why Trump's doing this thing, and that's why Texas is doing their thing. Trust me, it's, and they don't even know how close it is. I'm telling them to hurry up, and hopefully they will hear it. They're good people, but we have a lot of resistance from within too. Wheat and the tares, they're in there. Also, do you think China could be to us like okay? Someone tried calling me. Okay, very. Oh yeah. Okay, very good. Thank you for that. Yeah. Once you see the reason I can answer some of these questions is because once you see the A to Z, once you know A and Z, the beginning and the end of a thing, which is what God does with me as a prophet. That's what He shows me. He shows me the A of a thing, the beginning of it, and the end of a thing. And then as things come along, I'm saying, if people say, "Oh, what about this? It's going to happen." I say, "No, that didn't fit in with any of it." But it looks like it will, but it doesn't because I know the beginning from the end. So when people try to tell me stuff, they think I'm just being cantankerous. Oh no, he's just being cantankerous. He's just trying to reject us because we're no. When God shows you the beginning of a thing, which nobody else sees, and the end of a thing, which nobody else knows, then anything in between, whether it fits in there or not, or whether it fits into the puzzle or not. And so when you hear me saying very clearly to you, do not mess with that, do not be a part of that, it's because I see the beginning from the end, and it doesn't fit with the puzzle pieces. Does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense tonight. I'm trying to make real good sense tonight, okay, to help people get a hold of this stuff so that they can really have knowledge about it and maybe do something about it. At least you can't say I didn't tell you. I told you. Yes, I did. Thank you. Jesus told you, actually. It was my mouth, but He did. That's why He likes me. He likes me because I want to do all this, because I enjoy doing all this. I love shepherding people without strings tied. Yeah. And He loves that about me because that's the way He was. He didn't tie strings. And I love Him for that. All right. Sorry if I didn't get to your questions soon enough. Sometimes I get really honed in on things and I just forget about everything but what I'm honed in on. So if I'm not checking your text, maybe if you get on the chat, because sometimes I do check the chat a little bit more often, sometimes not always. But if you can get on the chat sometimes and do that, or keep trying to text me. And then when I find it, oh yeah, I gotta check my text, because I get so focused on something that I forget everything else for the moment. And then I finally get to it and go like, oh man, they texted me like 30 minutes ago. Sorry about that. That's just, me and my whatever. Yeah. All right. I guess I'm ready to go on. We've done a lot of things tonight. We've gone a lot of places. We tried out a new system tonight. We got Nicole from DC on with us on the Restream for audio purposes. And I'm not sure we did that all right, because some people are telling me it didn't really come together that well. But I can tell you're for me on that, and I can tell you're trying to help me, and I appreciate that very much. So there you go. And people are looking for a leader. The problem is they don't like leaders like me, because leaders like me aren't really leaders. I'm a follower. I follow Jesus, and when you follow Jesus, only the people that want to follow Jesus will understand what I'm doing. Only those that are following Jesus. And there's many different people that follow Jesus, right? But those who connect up and they're following Jesus, they'll understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. The other ones, they will just see me as like, he ain't got it. But it ain't right. We got it. All right, I'm getting the app together. By the way, I'm getting the app together. I finally changed the logo, the logo on there. So that should change pretty soon. It should go up in the next day or so. And I'm actually going through there and getting help from Subsplash. By the way, if you give on Subsplash, you can start doing it again. It is working again if you like Subsplash. Okay. All right, you guys, we're going to call it a night tonight. Thank you very much for being with us. And hopefully I'll repeat things enough where you actually get it. Because there's a lot to get. And it's a big thing. It's a big, big project. But once you get it, you're going to have it, and then you'll be able to tell other people about it and help them however you want to help them. Just don't sell the information, because that will cost you, and you don't want that kind of trouble. All right, because you don't want God messing with your finances, right? Because He wants to bless you. That's what He wants to do. All right, good night, everybody. We're going to call it tonight. Thank you so much, and we love you, and God bless. We'll see you tomorrow. It's Wednesday. We prophesy to everybody on Wednesdays. Don't forget to pray for me, because I'm redoing the app. I'm actually working on the app, talking to the subclass people, getting help on it, and they're being very helpful. So I'm thankful for that so far. So we'll call it a night tonight, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.